When did we get the news? Friday, the day of the weigh-ins. We got the news the day of the weigh-ins that Arman Tsarukyan had pulled out of the fight because of back issues, which is a bit strange on the day of the weigh-in because I don't really get how that works, but obviously that's between him and his team.
You know how many people I had call me or text me and say, hey, that he was supposed to take a drug test in the morning?
Oh, really? Yeah.
And look, I'm not speculating.
I don't know.
I'm leaning more towards the weight thing.
Yeah.
Because look, at 2 a.m, I've been at 2 a.m when like weight's not coming off and I'm almost in tears.
Yeah.
Going, shit.
There's a panic when it comes to it. Yeah.
But I've also had fights where I got called on a Wednesday night, had to report by Thursday morning at 8 a.m. at the drug place that they told me to report to take the blood test or the piss test. Yeah. And all of a sudden I got a call that morning and my opponent dropped off. So, I mean, like, that's normally what they do too, is they call you at, say, like 10 o'clock at night when they know you have no time to try and prepare. And they say, hey, 8 a.m., drug test. And in no way am I saying Arman is cheating, using, anything like that. I'm just simply saying that I've had past experiences with that. And then I also was told that the fighters were told to check in early in the morning to take their drug test.
We've been in these positions before. Went down there with the doctor, went down there with Heather from the PI, who is, you can ask any fighter or anybody else, she's the best in the world. And, you miss opportunities sometimes, and he did. So we'll see how this plays out for him next year.
Dana White has proclaimed Arman Tsarukyan is not going to get the next title shot and that he has to go back to the drawing board. And that would only suggest that they are very mad at him and are, for lack of a better word, punishing him for having to pull out.
Given Dana's kind of short response at the post-fight presser, I'm not trying to put words in his mouth or anything, I would have thought Arman would be up next. Injuries happen. But the fact that he said no, he's going to have to build himself back up. And he was kind of short, and he spoke about Heather. And again, I'm reading between the lines here, and I could be wrong, but it seems like maybe the injury wasn't that bad. Is that fair to say?
You do your best to fight, particularly for a championship fight. So this is where I feel like Dana White is not buying what Arman Tsarukyan says, because if he mentioned the fact that they sent Heather Linden, I feel like he wasn't like he was saying is like, hey, we did everything possible to keep this fight afloat, and even the trainer said he'd be good to go, but he decided to just pull out. You know what I'm saying?
I gathered the same thing, that maybe he thought he was he could have sucked it up a little bit and went out there for such an opportunity, and he's gone on social media and even agreed with Dana, saying that he knows he's got to work his way back up. He knows, and I'm sure that something was even told to him, like, look, man, if you don't get in there this weekend, that's fine. We're not here to put an injured fighter in there. We don't want to do that, but it's probably going to go to somebody else after this. So if you can't make it, just know we're not screwing you over. We're letting you know ahead of time that, we waited a long time. This matchup finally happened. Islam showing up. He's there. If you can't make it, you get pushed back a bit.
He's going to have some things he's going to have to overcome a little bit here. Now he's going to be, I'm not saying he is, but he's going to have the illusion that he can't be trusted or that he's unreliable. He pulls out the day of the weigh-ins. I'm not saying that it wasn't legitimate, but there's going to be the illusion that happens.
I have the same thought. I understand.
They already wanted him to fight. Once before, as soon as he walked out of the octagon, the UFC counts on you to say yes if you're uninjured for the most part. Yep. He was walking out of the octagon after fighting Charles Oliveira, was asked to fight, and he said no. That's not going to get you in the good graces. You're not getting any favors done for you doing that kind of stuff. Then he punches a fan on his way out, and things get weird.
He's a very flexible guy. I know people are going to lean into a lot of the exercises that he does and maybe some stuff that he was doing leading up to the fight, and that is going to open him up to some criticism. Part of the reason I think he pulled out of the fight is because he is so confident in his ability to beat Islam Makhachev and everybody else that he feels like he can beat a man if need be, which is going to be the necessary course of action, and then get back to the Islam Makhachev fight. But I do feel like Dan Hooker, immortalized behind me, don't hunt what you can't kill. I'm just telling you, the way that individual is wired, he would have said, pump me full of muscle relaxers or whatever is legal under the confines of the drug system to loosen up my back. I need to make that weight and fight Islam Makhachev in whatever condition.
That's pretty, yeah, I thought it was pretty strange, bro, to get such a severe injury that you need to pull out when you're cutting weight, you know what I mean? Like your world titles, your absolute everything. I don't know how you would pass up on that opportunity. And yeah, like I obviously saw Dana White just say that he ain't getting the title shot next, and he's going to have to work his way back up to the belt, you know? Daddy can't buy you a backbone, can he?
And I'm not saying I'm right, but the timing of it tells me that someone was having a hard time making weight. And they knew that they weren't going to make weight. And instead of going and not making weight, I'm going to say, oh, I got this injury here, which maybe he's got a back injury, but he tried to put it off on that. And the only thing I'm going to say is, and the UFC is not stupid.
The thing is, the weight cut could be related in that when you dehydrate your body, you are susceptible to injuries, of course, right? Your muscles are starving for hydration, which makes it that much easier to get injured. So we have to understand that. And if you do have some issues, right? And as I'm talking about as a guy that has had multiple back injuries in fights, in jiu-jitsu tournaments, these things happen, okay? They do happen.
I started to cut my weight, and during the cut weight, just my lower back stuck, you know, when I was doing the bike. Yeah, and then I was laying down, cut my weight. Weight was good, like going down good as well. And then we called the doctor to come and see, and they trying to help me. And I went to sleep 6 pounds over, and I wanted to do it in the morning, but I couldn't sleep all night as well, and back was hurting as well.
But regardless, like at 2 a.m, I've been countless times, at least 4 or 5 times. It just came down to shit. I'm in tears. I have 7 pounds, and I got to make weight by 9 a.m. And it's 2 a.m. And it's not coming off. I've been in the sauna for an hour, and I've lost a quarter of a pound.
Yeah,
it's like you just start shitting yourself.
Because I've done it when I couldn't make weight. I've always blamed it on something else. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I missed weight 3 times in my career, an Olympic champion, because
Really?
I was playing with fire, bro. I was trying to cheat the system in a way. It was like, dude, I get 24 hours of recovery. Oh, I can lose 16 pounds in a couple hours and just fucking recover and then do my whole 9. So I know the excuses that I pull. I'm not saying that Arman did, but everybody that has been there and done that before, and to hear the quite honest truth, whenever if I couldn't make weight, I'm blaming it on something else, dude. And that's just what it was for me. And I missed weight 3 times. I know one time I fucking blamed something. I forget what it was, but that's just my honest opinion. Straight up, Kush.
I don't know the circumstances behind his injury, his pullout, but I do know, or at least feel, like him not walking back into a title fight is a little bit, hey, we all have consequences to our decisions, right? Injury, and sometimes it might be unfair. But him not walking back into a title fight may be like, okay, dude, we really had to scramble. Now you got to go earn your way back.
I was really surprised, and I'm not the one to I can't be like, oh, he made a mistake or whatever, because at the end of the day, if he goes and loses, he has no shot ever of fighting him again, because it's, you know, he lost twice to him. But at least this way, he might have another chance if he goes and wins another fight. You know what I mean?
But ultimately, I think we all just come to and said, hey, we got to find a way to work with Tsarukyan. If he pulled out for very legitimate reasons and he needs to be given the benefit of the doubt when it comes to health, I sat with one of his coaches, Daryl Christian, tonight. They said he's been dealing with this. This was not even a huge surprise.
Some guys, if it's not picture perfect, man, it's just where they are mentally, they will back out. And I imagine that he had a legit injury, but I do imagine, and again, we're just speculating, we're just trying to figure this out ourselves without knowing all the info. He probably could have fought, but would he have been at the absolute best? No. Would have other fighters probably gone in there and done it? Yeah.